Welcome to the Beyond Bloated Podcast. I'm Carly, a certified health coach helping women ditch their bloat without having to follow super strict and stressful protocols. As someone who's struggled with all sorts of digestive issues for over 5 years, I know exactly how you're feeling. I also know that there's a way to feel better, and it doesn't have to involve tons of expensive supplements and insanely restrictive diets. Join me as I share all of my bloat-busting wisdom to help you say goodbye to that bloated belly and regain your confidence. It's time for you to move beyond bloated. Hello, and welcome to episode 20. Yes, 20. It has already been a whole 4 months of the Beyond Bloated podcast. That's insane. It's also insane that it's already August. I feel like summer, I blinked and then bye, see ya. Summer used to be my favorite month, but I think that was just because I didn't have to go to school. So like all through elementary school, high school, university, you get the summer off. So it's like, yeah, summer's the best. But now that I have to work all year round, I am transformed. I am now 100% a fall girly. Mostly because I'm obsessed with Halloween, but also because I don't have air conditioning and the summer is very hot. Okay, I moved here over 2 years ago now, and everyone told me, oh, when you move to BC, you don't need air conditioning. Nobody has air conditioning in BC. It just doesn't get that hot. Bullshit. It gets very hot. And I think next summer, I'm going to invest in some sort of air conditioning because I physically cannot handle this. I sweat more than the average human, and I don't want to sweat when I'm outside and when I'm inside. No, thank you. Now, I myself am not a mom, but I have mom friends. I have my own mom, so I know a thing or two about moms, and I know that back to school happens in September, obviously. And as a mom, you may be excited because you're like, yeah, get these kids back to school, get them out of my face. No shame if that's you. I would be feeling the same way. But you also might be dreading it a little because depending how old or young your kids are, honestly, I don't think it matters. My boyfriend is in college, a grown adult, and he gets sick more during the school year than when he's not in school. So I don't think it matters how old your kids are. When they go back to school, they're going to probably get sick and bring it home to you and the rest of your family. So if you are one of the parents that dreads back to school because you're like, please, I don't need to be sick right now, I'm going to help you today. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about how you can actually boost your immunity naturally so that you don't become sick this September. If you start now, beginning of August, you'll have a whole month and a bit for your immune system to become more robust and thriving. So by the time your children head back to school, you will have preventative measures in place so that you don't catch the cold that they may be bringing home. The fact that I love tossing around to people that I know in real life as well, and a lot of people are very shocked by this when I tell them, is that around 70 to 80% of our immune cells reside in our gut. This means that if we are not taking care of our gut health, we're going to have a compromised immune system, which is going to make us more susceptible to all sorts of illnesses. A couple weeks ago, I released episode 18, How Immune Disease Begins in the Belly, and I explained in detail the role that our gut plays in regulating our immune system and how this can eventually lead to developing different autoimmune conditions. If you're interested in learning more about the gut autoimmune connection, check that episode out. It was requested by one of my listeners, so I assume she's not the only person interested in this topic. I will link that episode in the show notes for you. And by the way, if you have a topic that you would like me to cover on the podcast, I'm all ears. Send me a text in the show notes. There's a link. Send me a text. It's anonymous, so I won't know who sent it if you prefer to go that method. Otherwise, you can reach out to me on Instagram at beyond.bloated or send me an email, carlyclose@beyondbloated.com. Just let me know what topic you're interested in and I'll note it down. And possibly soon, I will be creating an episode on the topic you want to hear about. In the episode that I did on the gut autoimmune connection, I did go into more detail about the role gut health plays in immunity and how that leads to autoimmune conditions, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to focus so heavily on that in this episode. Instead, I'm going to be more focused on the actionable steps that you can take to start strengthening your immune system so that you aren't constantly getting sick starting in September all the way through June when your kids are done school, or during the winter months. I know people think, oh, December, everybody gets sick because it's cold. That's not necessarily true. If you think about the holidays, what are we doing in December? We're drinking a lot. We're not sleeping as much. We're stressed because of family and friends and events and all these different activities taking place. We're eating worse than we normally would because there's lots of sugar and sweets around, and, there's all these different dinners and events. Our gut health takes a massive hit in December. Also, we're probably not moving as much, throwing that in there as a little bonus, because, we're busy. We're not taking the time to exercise. It's cold out, so we don't want to go for the walks and the runs and the bike rides. It's not because it's winter and people get sick in winter. It's mostly because it's holiday season and we just don't take as good care of our bodies as we do the rest of the year. If you don't feel like going to episode 18 right now to get a little background information on how our gut impacts immunity, I'll give you the quick Cliff Notes version just so you have some background information, because it'll make the rest of the episode make a lot more sense and you'll understand why these actionable steps are going to help improve immunity. If you have been listening since episode 1, you probably know by now that our microbiomes are filled with beneficial and not so beneficial bacteria, and that's completely normal. 2 of the key beneficial bacteria are lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. I may or may not be pronouncing that correctly. I'm going to shorten that down to lacto and bifido for the future so I don't mess them up. So these 2 beneficial bacteria live in our microbiomes in the gut, and they have been shown to play a major role in boosting immunity. These 2 strains of bacteria kind of act like our body's defense consultants, if you will. They help train and guide the immune system by teaching it how to recognize and take down the harmful germs that end up making us sick. Also, the more diverse our microbiomes are, the more of these defense-like warriors we have standing guard in our gut. So this diversity helps us fight off infections and makes our bodies more resilient against different illnesses. So the goal here is to keep our microbiomes balanced and diversified so that these beneficial bacteria can help us fight off illnesses. It's not about avoiding all germs forever. It's about building up our gut health so that our bodies can fight these germs and we don't actually end up getting sick from them. I'll use myself as an example. I used to get sick all the time in university. There was one year, I believe it was my 2nd or 3rd year of university. It felt like I was sick every single month. It was horrible, and it was lasting illnesses. It wasn't like I had a cough for a couple of days and then I was fine. They dragged on, and I'd finally get rid of them, and then they'd come back a few weeks later. Why did this happen? Because in university, I had a terrible sleep schedule. I was stressed about tests and assignments. I didn't do anything to manage that stress. I didn't exercise or walk or do anything. I drank too much alcohol. I had a horrific diet. I took way too many antibiotics. I was on hormonal birth control since I was 18, etc., etc. Basically, my gut health was shit. It was so bad in university, and shortly after leaving university was when all of my gut issues kicked in. So clearly it was building and building, and then I had a threshold and my body was like, okay, we've hit that point and now we're done with you. So I had terrible gut health. I was sick all the time. I turned it around and now I rarely get sick. Liam, my boyfriend, we live together in an 800 square foot condo. We sleep in the same bed. He has been sick a few times since we've moved in together when I didn't catch it. And it's not because I avoided the germs. Like I said, we live in a small space. We share a bed. we share food and drinks and things. Like, the germ was inside of me. There is no doubt about that. But I have improved my gut health to the point where I'm able to fight off those germs and not get sick from them. Now, I'm going to share with you some of the ways that you can start to boost your immune system so your body is also capable of fighting these germs off. First up is probiotics. Probiotics are live, friendly, good, beneficial bacteria that are found in certain foods. And you can, of course, buy probiotic supplements, and these will help us naturally boost our immune system. Probiotics can be found in everyday foods like yogurt, kefir, and fermented vegetables. In my free Ultimate Guide to Bloat Busting, section 3 is filled with probiotic-rich foods, so there's a list of them there. You can check that out. I also provide 3 different recipes that you can try to implement these probiotic-rich foods if you're not used to eating them. So that's completely free. You can download that on my website, beyondbloated.com/freebies, or I'll link it in the show notes for you as well. So adding these foods to your diet is a simple and cheaper way to help boost your immunity. You can, of course, buy probiotic supplements, but if you're going to go that route, I would be very careful. There are very few brands out there that make high quality supplements. In episode 12, I interviewed Nuria, and she talked about her low tox supplement guide, and we discussed different supplements, different toxic ingredients that are in these supplements that you need to watch out for. I also have a few pages worth of recommended products in my Bloat Be Gone Kickstart bundle. So if you'd like to check either of those out, I'll link those in the show notes. Whether you decide to go the probiotic-rich food route or the probiotic supplement route, or maybe a mixture of both, any way you choose, adding probiotics into your diet is going to boost your immunity. Scientists have been busy studying probiotics, and the findings are very fascinating. Research suggests that regularly including probiotics in your diet may help prevent and ease common illnesses. These beneficial bacteria don't just stand by and watch what's going on. They actively communicate with your immune system, teaching it to be on high alert against potential threats. Studies indicate that incorporating probiotic-rich foods may lessen the severity and duration of illnesses, from the common cold to more significant infections. As a quick summary, basically science is showing that adding probiotics into our diets helps prevent illness, and even if you are getting sick still, the duration and the severity of that illness is less. So beneficial all ways you look at it. Another key component of boosting immunity naturally are prebiotics, which are the special fuel that keeps our beneficial bacteria thriving. So prebiotics are non-digestible fibers that act as food for the beneficial bacteria in our gut. While probiotics get most of the attention, prebiotics are working behind the scenes, making sure our microbiome stays well-nourished and ready to fight off any illnesses or germs that are entering our bodies. The main job of prebiotics is to nourish the good bacteria in our gut. So these are acting as a sort of buffet for our friendly microbes, encouraging their growth and enhancing their activity. When our gut bacteria start eating the prebiotics, they produce substances that contribute to a healthy gut environment, creating a win-win situation for both the microbes and our overall well-being. If you think of your gut as a garden, probiotics are like the seeds that you plant, and then these seeds grow into beneficial plants, which are our good bacteria, and they help our garden, which is our microbiome, thrive. The prebiotics, such as resistant starch powder, are like the fertilizer you add to the soil. This fertilizer provides the nutrients that the seeds, or the probiotics, need to grow strong and healthy. Basically, probiotics introduce good bacteria into your gut, while prebiotics feed and nourish these good bacteria, helping them flourish. Just like there are probiotic supplements, there are technically prebiotic supplements as well. Like I just said, resistant starch powder, you can buy that and you can add that to water You can add that to like an electrolyte drink and shake it up. It's generally tasteless. So that is one way you can go about it. But again, you need to be reading the ingredients and making sure it is a high quality product. But the other route is just by eating prebiotic-rich foods. Things like garlic, onions, asparagus, oats, bananas, tomatoes, and chia seeds are all prebiotic-rich and will help feed the good gut bacteria and help them thrive. So far, we've covered probiotic-rich and prebiotic-rich foods and how those are going to help boost our immunity. But we also have fiber-rich foods. Foods high in fiber promote the growth of our gut's friendly bacteria and ensure they're in optimal condition to defend against germs. Things like colorful fruits, like berries, apples, and oranges, are not only bursting with vitamins, but they also are filled with fiber that our gut bacteria loves. Vegetables, of course, from leafy greens like spinach to cruciferous veggies like broccoli. All of these different veggies are fiber-rich choices that are going to keep our gut bacteria happy and our immune system strong. Also, whole grains. Opt for whole grains like quinoa, brown rice, and oats. The oats I also mentioned was a prebiotic-rich food, so double whammy there. Hey everyone, Carly here. If you are tired of feeling bloated and uncomfortable, which I know you are, I have something that can really help. My free ultimate guide to bloat busting. I've been there myself, and I know how frustrating it is to try super restrictive diets and expensive supplements without getting results. If those methods were going to work, they would have worked by now. That's why I created this guide to offer you a different approach. In the ultimate guide to bloat busting, you'll learn techniques to listen to your body and eat with intention, avoiding overeating and choosing foods that truly benefit you, tips for proper hydration to support digestion and reduce bloating, a guide to delicious foods that promote a healthy gut and how to easily incorporate them into your meals, and effective methods to manage stress, which plays a huge role in gut health. These simple, practical strategies can make a big difference in your daily life, helping you feel lighter, more energized, and comfortable in your own skin. Ready to ditch the bloat without strict diets or costly supplements? Download your free copy today at beyondbloated.com/ultimate-guide and start your journey to a bloat-free life. Now, let's get back to it. These grains are not only hearty, but also rich in fiber, so they're going to support a thriving gut environment. Now that I've just thrown a bunch of knowledge at you, let's turn it into an actionable step. So how do we create daily meals based around these foods? It's actually simpler than you might think. So for one, I would aim for a colorful plate. So add different colors of fruits and vegetables to your meals, because different colors often indicate a variety of different nutrients and fibers that contribute to both gut health and immune support. So don't just buy the same 3 green vegetables at the grocery store week after week. My tip for you is to buy what's in season. Go to your local farmer's market, buy what's there. You know that it's seasonal, it's local, so it wasn't shipped from halfway across the world, and it's going to be fresh, full of nutrients. What Liam and I have actually started doing is we get every other week a organic produce box that's filled with just a bunch of different fruits and veggies from local farmers, all organic, and we have no idea what the hell's in it until we get it. We open it up, and there's some weird stuff in there. I'm not going to lie. Like this week, we got something called kohlrabi. I think that's how you pronounce it. Neither of us have heard of it. We've never seen it before. We pull it out. We're like, what is this alien-looking vegetable? But we're going to figure out how to eat it this week. And this is a great way for us to get a bunch of different colored fruits and veggies. And also it's going to help diversify our microbiome, because getting different variety of plants is the best way to diversify your microbiome. So you can look into something like that in your area. If there's like a biweekly or weekly produce box that you can get, you can just start going to farmers markets and picking up what's there. Just make it a challenge. Be like, if you're really having a hard time, this week I'm going to try one new fruit or vegetable. And then Maybe 2 weeks later, you're like, okay, I'm going to try 2 different fruits and vegetables. Do whatever is comfortable for you, but make it a goal and figure out how you're going to make that happen. Another step you can take is swap your refined grains for whole grains in your meals. So instead of buying the processed, enriched, bleached wheat flour bread, buy like a sourdough, or start using whole grain pasta instead of the white, shitty, ultra-processed pasta that has absolutely no nutrients in it. Start by going through your cupboards and looking at the products that you have in there and read the ingredients. How many times do you see enriched, bleached wheat flour or something along those lines? You don't want very much of that. Ideally, you don't want any, but the less we can get, the better. So swap that out for things that say 100% whole grain in the ingredients list. If it says it on the front of the label, it can be a lie. So go through the actual ingredients list and look for whole grains. You can also just buy like 100% whole grain rice or quinoa, things that don't have a massive ingredient list to make your life easier. Next, when you're feeling a little snacky, instead of grabbing the sugary granola bar, reach for a piece of fruit or vegetables, but make sure you pair it with something with some protein or healthy fats so that you're not just going to be hungry 2 seconds later. So for example, grab an apple, slap some almond butter and cinnamon on there. That's one of my favorite snacks. Or get some carrot and celery sticks, dip it in some hummus. That's another great snack. These things are going to help increase our fiber. Some of these are prebiotic foods, so bonus. And also the hummus, the almond butter, whatever you're pairing it with is going to help you get a little protein, a little healthy fat, and that's going to help you stay full for longer and balance your blood sugar. Finally, don't forget to stay hydrated. Water and herbal tea can contribute to a well-hydrated gut, which supports the movement of nutrients and aids digestion. Things like peppermint tea and ginger tea, chamomile tea as well. These are all very good for the gut. You can also have an electrolyte drink. So if you have your favorite electrolyte powder, bonus points to you. If you don't have an electrolyte powder, I recommend putting a pinch of pink Himalayan sea salt or a high quality Celtic sea salt in your water, and that's going to help you better absorb that water and actually better hydrate you in the long run. So that about covers the nutritional aspect, but this is holistic health. So we're going to shift our focus to lifestyle choices that also play an important role in improving gut health and strengthening the immune system. It's not just about what we eat, it's also about how we live our daily lives. I'm probably going to sound like a broken record here, especially if you've listened to other episodes, but these things are so important, so I'm going to keep talking about them. Regular exercise. Exercise isn't just for super buff dudes at the gym. It benefits your gut. Regularly exercising promotes the movement of food through the digestive tract, so that's going to prevent stagnation and supports a diverse gut microbiome. But make sure you're doing activities you actually like. You could go for a walk. You could dance in your kitchen. You could go to a yoga class or just pull up a YouTube video of yoga. Whatever it is that you're going to enjoy and actually be able to do long term, that is what you should be doing. I also recommend that women do weightlifting. It's not just for the buff dudes at the gym. Women can lift weights too, and it's actually very beneficial for us. So once or twice a week, try lifting some weights, even if it's just at home, get some dumbbells at home. That's what I do. I don't go to the gym, but I still exercise regularly and I lift weights. We also need to be managing our stress. Stress wreaks havoc on the gut. It impacts the delicate balance of the microbiome. So we need to practice stress management techniques, things like deep breathing, meditation, mindfulness, going for a walk in nature, whatever calms you down, do that. The last section in my free ultimate guide to bloat busting has all different ideas on how to manage your stress and also explains in more detail how stress negatively impacts gut health. So again, go get that for free. beyondbloated.com/freebies. You can probably even think of a time in your life where you were really stressed out and then you got sick. I know it's happened to me, and I bet it's happened to you. That is because stress negatively impacts our gut, and our gut is where our immune system is. So if we're stressed, we're compromising our immune system. Same thing goes for sleep. Quality sleep is so important for the maintenance and repair of our bodies, including the gut. So we should be striving for minimum 7 hours a night. Women also require more sleep than men. I've read that women use more of their brains in a day than men, so we need more time sleeping to repair our brains and also our hormones. Our hormones are way more complex than a man's. Testosterone comes from the testicles, and that shit's working no matter how much sleep they get, whereas women actually need more sleep for their bodies to fully recover and repair from the previous day's activities. So from what I've read, women typically require like 8 to 10, whereas men can kind of get away with 6, but ideally everyone should aim for a minimum of 7. You likely can also think of a time when maybe you weren't sleeping very well, or you got a terrible night's sleep, and then all of a sudden you got sick. Again, they are connected. Gut health, sleep, stress, our diet, exercise, they are all connected. We need to be doing all the things, eating well, exercising right, going to bed, and living an overall healthy lifestyle to boost our immunity. The great news is that by doing all of these things, yes, you will be boosting your immunity, so you'll likely get sick less often, and when you do get sick, it'll be for a less amount of time and less severe, which is awesome because I can honestly say getting sick is one of the worst feelings. I cannot stand being sick. I hate it. So yeah, if someone told me do this stuff and you'll probably get sick less often, hell yeah, I'm doing it. But you'll also improve your digestive symptoms. So if you're experiencing bloating, food sensitivities, gas, constipation, all the things like that, doing these things is improving your gut health because your immune system is in your gut. So by improving your gut health, yes, you're improving immunity, but you're also improving your gut health. So the symptoms that you have because your gut is not functioning well, doing all of this stuff is going to improve that function and lessen your symptoms. In episode 9, I talked about 10 non-GI symptoms that disappeared after I fixed my gut, and low immunity, or aka getting sick all the time, was one of them. So as I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, I used to get sick all the time, and I improved my gut health, and now I rarely get sick. That can happen for you as well. Yes, you can also improve your actual digestive issues by improving your gut health, but there were also so many other things that disappeared after I improved my gut health. Canker sores, chronic fatigue, night sweats, kidney stones. There's other things in that episode as well, so if you're interested in that, check out episode 9. I'll link it as well. But just know your gut is the link to all of your problems. I truly, truly believe that. I've experienced it myself. By just working on improving my gut health, my life has changed drastically for the better. And the things that I mentioned in this episode aren't that hard to do. Yes, it takes time to implement change, and you need to want to change. If I tell you to do something and you have no interest in doing it, of course you're not going to. But if these symptoms are ruining your life like they were for me, I'm sure you have the motivation and you want to make that change. If you need help, I work with clients one-on-one. You can check out my signature program, Beyond the Bloating, at my website. I'll link that in the notes for you as well. All of the program details can be found on my website. And if you're interested, but you're not ready to commit, I offer a free 20-minute discovery call where we just talk about your challenges, your goals, what's going on in your life, and we just decide, are we a good match? Am I going to be able to help you? And we can go from there. I hope this episode was able to give you some ideas on how you can improve your immunity, because I don't want you to be sick all fall and winter and spring. So get going, start implementing some of these things, and I wish you a healthy school year. Thank you for listening to the Beyond Bloated podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe and leave a review. And don't forget to share this podcast with your fellow gut goddesses. If you'd like to chat about today's episode, send me a DM on Instagram at beyond.bloated. Until next time, bye!